Persona 4 Dancing All Night, or P4 Dan as I like to call it, because P for Dan, hilarious, is another spin-off in one of my favorite game franchises, Persona, specifically taking place in the Persona 4 universe. Hence the, 4. And it's silly. Very, very silly. But also kind of dark.
What the hell is this?
And I love it.
Blood from the gut?
Now the first thing you'll notice upon booting up the game is that Dancing All Night oozes style. Whether that style is something you can appreciate, well, that's up to you. But one thing the Persona series has never been in short supply of is exactly that, style. Now when I first saw this game, I thought to myself, so Hatsune Miku Persona Edition? And that's both right and wrong. To be honest, Hatsune Miku and her Vocaloid crew couldn't possibly hope to have a cast as varied and entertaining as that of Persona 4's. Although, actually, looking at this lineup of weirdos, it'd probably make for a pretty great supporting cast and story, if Sega ever gave them actual personalities and actual narrative. And Persona 4's cast and setting is what makes it really shine. I'd like to argue for its strong writing, but when it comes to Dancing All Night, I mean, they tried. Given what they had to work with, I'm pretty impressed with what's here. It's a retelling of possibly the strangest concept for a story in a series primarily known for RPG and combat and everything but dancing. And to be honest, it's that borderline comical change of approach that made me so immediately interested in Dancing All Night when they first announced it.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Wow, this smile is making it around here. Unbelievable. Could you imagine the step? He's genius.
Bang.
Don't miss it, baby.
As soon as the player starts the game, they get perhaps the smoothest menu theme imaginable. So baby, go for it. Feel the vibe. Not even kidding, that's the actual name of the song. We begin the game's story in the Velvet Room, a place where things happen. And Margaret here fangirls over the main character slash protagonist of every Persona 4 game, the dapper and consistently smooth Yu Narukami. This game is no different, as Margaret tells us the story of how the wonderful Yu Narukami once saved the world from dance destruction, or something. The game begins in the most cheerful way imaginable, with a cutscene detailing this little girl's horrifying encounter with a depressed idol committing suicide. It's a dancing game! But believe it or not, my question isn't why are you starting your game about dancing and friendships with a small child witnessing the self-inflicted death of her hero, but rather, what are these kids doing getting a tour of the building at 12 a.m. midnight?
Thank you for staying so late.
Years after that horrifying event, Yu and friends find themselves hired by one of Japan's most popular idols. Idols are like pop stars in Japan, FYI. And secondary main character in this game, Risei Kujikawa. What have they signed up for this time? The Seekers of Truth, a group of multi-talented high schoolers whose achievements include playing in a band despite having no prior experience playing any sort of musical instrument, cross-dressing in a school pageant, saving each other from themselves. Whoa, that one's deep. Solving murders, being a fighting game character, you know, the usual teenager stuff. Now have to perform a live dance routine in front of millions, despite having no prior dance experience.
Backup dancers?
Backup dancers?
Backup dancers?
Given the unbreakable, borderline perfect friendship between the main cast, it does make some sense that Risei would enlist these dancing amateurs to perform with her, and also explains how they'd be able to pull it off. What do you mean the odds of them being at all successful is pretty much zero? They're perfect! They've solved murders, all while dealing with teenage hormones. That's like playing murder detective on hard mode. You don't even know, Dojima. You don't even know. But as it turns out, things, unsurprisingly, aren't so simple. There's a rumor going around about some sort of midnight stage people are mysteriously being dragged into if they dare to visit the page of some sort of spooky website at exactly midnight. But that's just crazy talk, am I right? I mean, I know the deep web has some pretty creepy stuff, but I'm sure it's... The main plot of the game is as follows. 4 members of Kahneman Kitchen, an idol group consisting of 5 pop stars separate from Risei, all of which don't really matter except for Konami herself, the third and arguably most important main character of the game, go missing just before their live performance at the Love Meets Bonds festival.
Have you heard anything, Konami? About Nozomi and the others disappearing?
And it's up to you, Risei, and the rest of the investigation team to find out who done it and make it back in time for the big dance. The stakes have never been higher. The game is divvied up into 3 different routes, alternating main characters depending on where you're at in the story. The first branch follows Yu, that's Yu as in YU, the main dude from the past games, not you. Well, I mean, I guess technically is you and you, that's... as he and the rest of his fellow upperclassmen split up from Risei's group because that's obviously a great idea, and it's about time our juniors get stuff done on their own. No more counting on Senpai. Senpai's at it! Yu's team consists of himself, the handsome one.
Looks good. Nice.
Yosuke, the bro of the group, and Yu's, partner. Also known as the guy with the derpy eyes. Chie, the lovable tomboy and meat-obsessed karate master. And Yukiko, the boring one. The second branch follows Risei, the aforementioned idol superstar. Kanji, the tough, headstrong, and comically in touch, or out of touch, with his feelings one of the group. Naoto, the prodigy and head detective of the group. And Teddy, well, it's a long story. But he's basically the main source of comic relief.
It's those out-of-character shadows. Prepare yourself for the ultimate in break dancing. I can barely contain myself.
And he's also a blonde dude in a bear suit.
What in the what?
Play Persona 4. And finally, the third branch follows Konami Mashita, the previously mentioned leader of the idol group gone missing, Kanamin Kitchen, along with Nanako Dejima, Yu Narukami's scene-stealing kid sister and plot-conveniently prodigious dancer. In short, Nanako is adorable and Konami is a huge ditz with huge talent. The investigation team's plot progression is very straightforward. They just progress through the many dungeons, dancing to various remixes of classic songs from other Persona 4 games, and obliterating the evil shadows through the sheer power of dance. It's pretty interesting to me how plausible I find this concept. They're literally just dancing away the apathy that has washed over the countless numbers of shadows by expressing themselves. Which sounds ridiculous, but when you think about it, this entire plot is ridiculous, which makes them dancing to defeat their enemies feel a little less ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Also, look at the pretty lights. Beautiful. Now that we've finally come to the focus of dance, I think it's important that we take a look at the gameplay of Persona 4 Dancing All Night. Since, aside from the visual novel component, all you'll be doing is dancing. All night.
All night. All night. All night. All night. All night.
Now, the golden standard for Japanesey rhythm games like this, for me anyway, is the Project Diva games. You know, Hatsune Miku.
Hatsune Miku.
Hatsune Miku.
Hatsune Miku.
Gaming stuff.
Have some fun with Miku.
The one who was on the David Letterman show.
Okay, there she is.
Screw you, David Letterman. I know what that was.
It's like being on Willie Nelson's bus. You know?
Whether or not the apparently squeaky offerings of Hatsune Miku in Palace is your jam, I'd argue the rhythmic gameplay is pretty pristine. The Project Diva games do a great job mixing the chaos of interchanging shapes in a constant stream on the often incredibly busy screen. I like it a lot. It holds my attention, requiring me to focus and keep track of what's going where, all while hitting the notes in time with the melody. And there's usually some sort of story going on in the background that I'm connecting to while having fun keeping up with the often fast-paced rhythm. It's great. It's a formula that obviously works given the Project Diva game's success. But then we have Persona 4 Dancing All Night. There isn't really ever a story playing out during gameplay to keep things interesting, but the style, man, the style. It's definitely still there, only in the form of some super well choreographed animated dancing. But this dancing wouldn't be all that engaging if we didn't already know and love the characters. I mean, for any of you who aren't familiar with the Persona 4 crew, would you really be interested in watching this guy dance? This is actually pretty captivating.
Let's go, yeah!
I'd be interested to see if it holds the attention and impresses a fan of rhythm games who has no connection to the Persona 4 series as much as it did me. To be fair though, it looks great either way. Sure, there's not a ton going on, but what is going on looks amazing, especially given that it's on a handheld. The Vita continues to be a totally underutilized and underappreciated platform that pushes out great-looking weeb games. And you know what? I'm at peace with that. What it does well, with or without Sony's support. Rest in peace, PlayStation Vita. I wish I could have loved you as much as you deserve. Vita tangent aside, the more important aspect of what's going on the screen is how the rhythm game actually works. Compared to the Project Diva series' constantly moving stream of notes, the rhythm pulsates from the screen center and into the circle placed around the action. This might seem like a simpler, more casual approach to the rhythmic gameplay, at least in comparison to the fast-moving format seen in the Hatsune Miku games, but I don't know. Something about it I found really tricky. Like, I couldn't keep up with the beat as well as I could in, say, Diva F. It's not to say it doesn't work well, it's just I'm not very good at it.
Oh, no good?
And it doesn't do a great job holding my attention. I find it kind of hard to focus on the visual cues moving from place to place. It's weird. One of the terrible design choices that really gets in the way of gameplay is how each time you land a note, a giant floating piece of text appears and is like, great, perfect, good.
Me!
And guess what? It gets in the way of the incoming notes and makes it impossible to see if they're in the circle. How is that okay? And the gameplay on higher levels of difficulty is so unforgiving. For example, you could even clear a song only to later realize you didn't clear it well enough and you still fail the song. Like, what? All that hard work, exhaustively trying to keep up with the game's fast pace and completing it in a surge of victory, only to realize immediately after that, nope, you have to do it all over again. This is all your fault, Teddy. How are you supposed to even dance in that thing? You're dragging us both down, Tedward. But absurd difficulty spikes and unfair gameplay balance in the more challenging settings aside, if you're a fan of rhythm games and the almost ironically stylish and smooth English music that Persona 4 excels at, I think you'll likely find your groove and really enjoy what P4Dan has to offer. If anything, you'll at least have Nanako.
I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah, Nanako, you do it. You do that dance.
Yay.
Ow. All right. Yeah.
Look.
Yeah, all right. You could
Ta-da.
line up on all the talking. You
great?
just go, think everyone gets it.
Ta-da.
Definitely excited.
Look.
That's great. I'm just gonna
Dancing
turn
with
this
you is-
off and yeah. Now that we've covered what the dancing itself looks and feels like, let's get back into the story. At first, all the investigation team has to do is fight off generic shadows, but the further they get through the midnight stage, the more things begin to change for the freakier as they encounter the shadows of the various members of Kaname Kitchen. In true Persona fashion, it turns out that each missing idol is plagued by some sort of social insecurity. There's Sumomo, the cute little one, adored by the masses for being young and helpless, despite wanting people to appreciate and respect her for being herself, an average sort of farm girl who enjoys giving people nicknames. Man, they really went all out making these new characters compelling. Tomoe Sayama is seen by the masses as mature, sultry, and sexy, while in reality she's really just a manga-loving boy-shy dork.
I always spend New Year's on my own.
Ha! Nerd! Tamami Yusugi is viewed as the comic relief of the group despite wanting desperately to be respected and secure in herself and her abilities. And finally, there's the Zomi Nakahara, an incredibly shy and flustered individual who struggles to talk about herself, despite her idol persona seeming so self-assured. Now, a thing that I'd like to mention here is how Kaname Kitchen follows a certain, shall we say, theme.
Edible meats.
Edible meats?
They're up for consumption? Yeah.
Tomoe is a lamb, Tamami is a hen, Sumomo is a piglet, okay, this is getting weird, Nozomi is a stag, and Kanami is...
Your prize cow. My meat is marbled. My movement is slow. And I sleep off every meal.
I mean, yeah.
She's definitely had a boob job.
Back to the plot progression, Konami's path is quite a bit different from the investigation team's. She never ends up following you and company into the midnight stage, and instead remains mostly oblivious to what's happening, which I'm sure you'll find is very much in character. But even with her fellow dancers and newly acquired friends that are the investigation team being sucked into some crazy alternate dimension, the show must go on. So she keeps dancing, trying desperately to ignore the headaches that are plaguing her and causing her to lose focus. Could there possibly be some sort of significance behind all of these mysterious headaches? Like some sort of foreboding? Despite trying to put on a smile for her manager and fans, Konami just can't seem to catch a break as a crazed fan appears and nearly kills her. Great security, guys. Gold stars all around. But Ryotaro Dejima, Yu's uncle and Nanako's father, shows up at the last minute and saves her, leading to Nanako dancing for this guy.
Let's groove!
And being signed on as Konami's dance partner. Because why not?
I get how you feel, Daddy.
Konami explains the situation to Dejima, who agrees to investigate the rumors surrounding this mysterious midnight stage in hopes of figuring out what happened to both you and friends and the members of Konami Kitchen. Meanwhile, in the midnight stage, the investigation team begins to piece the puzzle together, deducing that the mystery is somehow connected to the suicide of Yuko Asada, a famous idol found dead years prior, and that the shadows existing in the midnight stage are those of the victims who'd watched the cursed video. After each session of saving one of the missing members of Konami Kitchen, the idol's manager, Miss Ochimizu, mysteriously appears, seemingly unaffected by the usually vicious shadows, and awkwardly makes them dance for her.
No, that isn't it. You're not getting it at all. Pour emotion into that final pose. I will not die!
It's weird.
I don't understand that at all.
Back in the real world, Konami and Nanako dance. And that's about it.
So, do you still need your dad to take you to the bathroom at night?
No, but if you keep that creepy line of questioning up, I'm gonna take you into the back and gouge your eyes out with a rusty spoon. Eventually, the gang manages to rescue all of the missing idols. But back in reality land, Konami's headaches are becoming more intense than ever. And as she takes a call from Dejima, who confirms that it was she who discovered the dead idol Yuko Asada so many years ago, the information turns out to be too much for her to handle, and as she opens her diary, Yuko's diary, this happens.
The witness was... it was me.
You finally figured it out.
What was that?
What the?
Oh no!
We learn that the last song of the dead idol Yuko, Calasthesia, was being used by some sort of horrible creature to control the shadows brought into the midnight stage. After saving a depressed Ochimizu—
Objection! Enough! I revoke my deal with you. I'll make no more compromises. The Konami Kitchen girls, these shadows you speak of, and even you. I will save every last one of you from this place.
Oh, gee.
The aforementioned horrible creature reveals itself as a shadow imitation of Konami and attempts to trick her into giving up herself. But in true anime fashion, everyone comes together and encourages her to fight back.
Are these guys serious with this crap?
And she's freed! No more ribbons! Except for that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. Enraged, the Shadow Konami turns into this blue mech girl thing, and just as the investigation team is about to take it on, Konami and Nanako insist they stay and help too.
I'm no man if I back down now.
Rise dances the dance of her life, but it just makes the thing laugh really hard, like really hard. Like, okay, that's enough there. You good? You're good. Okay. Good. The blue lady creature thing pretending to be Konami's shadow finally reveals its true form, a multi-headed titan monster, and sucks in the entire LMB festival audience, transforming them all into shadows to form one final everlasting bond, the most perfect bond you could ever desire. Not to be outdone, Rise and the rest of the idols use their special powers to create a giant version of her persona, so that they can dance on it or something? Filled with love and understanding for their friends, all of them dance one last time to the game's most climactic number. A performance so perfect and so moving that the Bond monster is just like, whoa, damn, you guys are good. Guess I'll just go then. Not bad. And just like that, the world is saved, thanks to the investigation team.
But it's impossible for me. I can't do anything. There's nothing good about me.
You're wrong, Konami-san. If you want a bond, then all you have to do is show people that, even if you have no bonds right now. Keep telling others how you feel, and someone will surely understand.
No one is devoid of bonds. They just can't see it for themselves.
I'll take up the feelings of everyone here and express them to her. There's no point in lying. You just need to be yourself and show other people who you really are.
You giving up already? Don't settle for that thing's fake bond!
I know that might be scary for you. It might mean you'll hear a lot of cruel, hurtful things from people. But didn't you choose to get on stage to convey what you feel?
I can sense everyone's hearts. They're all so warm and gentle.
Everyone is trying to move forward. There's no need for you to look away anymore.
All of you. I'm so happy. I finally have friends.
Persona 4 Dancing All Night isn't the best rhythm game. It doesn't have the best story, and a lot of the additional characters aren't exactly worthy of the main cast. But just like the other Persona games, it's special to me in its own weird way. Something I love so much about Persona is that despite its moments of over-the-top humor and fan service, it maintains this sense of both style and beauty. There are genuinely tender moments amidst the nonsense, and it's wonderful. And it's largely thanks to the sincerity of its sense of humor that they're able to pull off such dark and depressing themes with aplomb, all while managing a charm and ease that is always so effective. Dancing All Night is no different. There's plenty of absurd humor and genuinely disturbing moments, but the game tackles these themes so well that everything meshes together in a way that feels authentic and seldom ever jarring. And at the end of the day, the game, as always, is about friends coming together to prove themselves, prove that they can overcome the struggles that make up our daily existence, and prove that with each other's help, they can continue to love life and help others. It's everything about the series that really sets it apart from other games, making the world of Persona such a surprisingly refreshing and moving franchise. And I love it.
Now drop that beat!
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, why not leave a like and maybe even subscribe? Do it for Nanico. Don't forget to follow me on socials, Twitter and Facebook, to stay up to date with what I'm doing and maybe even, I don't know, interact with me. Feel free to leave me a
comment,
letting me know what you thought. Have you played Persona before? Are you hyped for Persona 5? You'd better be. And lastly, you can check out some of my other videos here, whatever they may be. So, until next time.
Where my head is at, oh, while my heart is singing.
Here comes a new challenger.